This creepy deli in New Jersey is hiding a dark secret. On the outside, your hometown deli was barely scraping by. It sold less than $60 worth of food a day. Their hoagies were all under $10, which meant they probably only had around 3 to 6 customers a day. And the interior? Well, it wasn't exactly fine dining to say the least. This place was not exactly a thriving business. But on the inside, the owners were using this deli for the most insane case of fraud ever. Using fake accounts, the owners sold company stock to each other over and over again to pump the price of this deli stock to the moon, and investors fell for it. What started out as $1.25 per share for this deli skyrocketed to over $13 a share, making this place earn the nickname of the infamous $100 million deli. And this is how they pulled it off. Stay dangerous, click the subscribe button, and let's get into it. Do you like free stuff? Well, you can get up to 12 free stocks valued up to $30,600 when you sign up for Webull with the link below. There's no catch, all you have to do is open an account, deposit as little as $1, and that is it. You'll get up to 12 free stocks valued up to $30,600 deposited straight into your account. And yes, once the stocks have settled in your account, you can sell them, use that money to buy other stocks, or even withdraw the money. So you might as well pause the video and click the link below to claim your free stocks now, because this promotion is definitely not going to last forever. Signing up is super fast and easy. All you have to do is fill out some basic information, deposit some money, and you're done. The first 2 shares you get when you open your account will be valued up to $300 each. And the next 4 to 10 shares you get after you deposit some money in your account will be valued up to $3,000 each. We are going into a recession right now, so you're gonna want to make sure you have everything set up and ready to go so that you can buy if and when everything crashes. And Webull is the app to do it. It's a really great commission-free stock trading app that was ranked the best investment app in 2021 by Benzinga, and it has a 4.5-star rating from NerdWallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your 12 free stocks valued up to $30,600 right now by pausing the video and clicking the link below. Thanks to Webull for sponsoring this video.
So you're James Patton, a New Jersey native who has dreams of becoming the next Wolf of Wall Street. You've been trying to make it big in the world of high finance since the 80s. But the problem is, in 1998, you got caught committing fraud and got banned from being a stockbroker. Whoops. But fear not, there are ways around this for an ambitious guy like yourself. You're not gonna let some silly court order stop you from achieving your dreams. You just gotta make sure regulators don't know it's you behind the scenes pulling the strings. You've just gotta hide your name from everything. That is where the beauty of shell companies comes in. A company that might look completely legit on paper, except it doesn't have any employees, offices, any actual running business, and most importantly, your name is nowhere to be found on the records. All you gotta do is create a shell company, get it listed on the stock market, which we'll talk about later, it's easier than you think. Do some financial trickery to pump the stock price to the moon, with the goal of making other investors think, hey, this stock is growing like crazy, we gotta get in on this and buy some shares. And once that happens, you simply dump the shares on them and make off with tens of millions of dollars. So in 2015, you finally registered your new business. For some reason, you decided not to make some futuristic-looking tech company or even a boring big business like trash collecting. No, you decided to execute your multi-million-dollar plan based on a deli. But it's not just any deli, your hometown deli. It became part of your brand new shell company, Hometown International. This deli might have looked more like a prison, but after you worked your magic, it would be worth more than your wildest dreams. But as business gurus always say, for any successful venture, you gotta build an all-star team. First off, you put your man Paul Marina down as the company's CEO, CFO, treasurer, director, and you make him the largest shareholder. Who is this maverick that is able to handle so many vital roles in the company? Why, a renowned wrestling coach and principal for the high school next to the deli, of course. Paulsboro High School is a literal 10-minute walk from the deli, so our guy Paul doesn't have to worry about a long commute. Convenient, right? Next up, we've got Christine Lindenmuth. You put her as the vice president and secretary of the company. What are her credentials, you may ask? She's a 46-year-old math teacher and administrator at that same high school our wrestling coach works at. And you thought we were lying when we said all-star team. But let's be honest, these are not the type of people to commit securities fraud. Luckily, you know someone who does. A guy by the name of Peter Coker Sr. Peter had been sued by American Express for $900,000 of unpaid debts, which he tried to escape by declaring fraudulent bankruptcy. He had to settle a lawsuit with a furniture store for trying to embezzle $1 million while he was vice president. And way back in 1992, he got arrested for trying to solicit prostitution from a group of girls as young as 10 years old. But most importantly, he had exactly what you needed: his own set of shell companies and a foolproof plan. Needless to say, Peter Coker Sr. was the exact guy for the job. Now all you needed was to list your deli on the stock market and you'd be golden. But let's be honest, there's no way that a company that owns one deli that has been in business for less than a year was gonna be allowed on a big stock exchange like the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. The regulations and scrutiny are crazy. These places are carefully monitored. All transactions are tracked. And the minute they catch someone breaking the rules, they can just delist the company. Hometown International wouldn't last 5 minutes there. But fear not, because there are other places you can list your company that offer a little bit more leniency. Somewhere people didn't mind taking a gamble on an all-or-nothing company promising them millions. And that somewhere is called the over-the-counter or OTC markets. First, you want to file your paperwork with the SEC and tell them that this is, quote, a new delicatessen concept, which sells home-style sandwiches, food items, and groceries in a casual and friendly atmosphere. There we go. Now that sounds like a hip, innovative company people would want to throw money at. You list the wrestling coach and math teacher as the primary shareholder so your name is off their radar. And then you can get your company listed on the over-the-counter market. Unlike big centralized stock exchanges where you can instantly buy and sell stocks from big vetted companies like Apple or Amazon whenever you want on your phone, because your trades are routed to a centralized exchange that facilitates the trade for you, like the Webull stock trading app that gives you up to 12 free stocks valued up to $30,600 when you sign up for Webull with the link below and make a deposit. The OTC market is a very different beast. It's a completely decentralized system where buyers and sellers trade stock with one another directly. There's no central organization overseeing the trade. If you're the seller, you're dealing with the buyer directly. This gives the OTC market some advantages. And unlike the big exchanges, you don't get automatically kicked out for being sketchy. The only thing the OTC market can do if they suspect something shady is going on is flag the company for suspicious behavior and report it to the SEC if needed. It's a place where both honest companies and very sketchy ones are free to do as they please, which leaves you with a lot of wiggle room. Perfect. Now Hometown International, ticker symbol HWIN, is listed on the OTC market. Now it's finally game time. This is where your all-star guy Peter Coker Sr. comes in. You remember, the guy that tried to diddle little girls?
We do not diddle kids.
Coker Sr. already had a shell company on the OTC market, E-Waste, as well as a fake investment firm called Tran Capital. So you two get together and start pumping this deli to the moon. Here's how it works. On a regular stock exchange, like the one you use on your phone, stock prices are set automatically based on supply and demand. How many people are buying and selling? And since there are a ton of legitimate people buying and selling Apple, for example, at any given time, you get a pretty accurate price of what the stock should be at. But in the OTC markets, there's a lot less transactions going on. If a company has no one trading its shares, whatever the next one transaction is will set the price of the stock. You can charge as high a price for your stock as you want as long as you find someone willing to pay it. Anytime someone trades more than 100 shares, this gets printed or registered in the market's database. And then boom, that's the new price for this stock. And that's where Coker Sr.'s other shell companies came into play. See, you and Coker would sell just enough shares of Hometown International to his other shell companies to gradually raise the stock price to make the stock look enticing, but without raising any eyebrows. But Coker isn't just gonna buy your shares and pump your company for free, so your shell company pays his shell companies consulting fees, like administrative and other miscellaneous services, or support in the research, development, and analysis of product, financial, and strategic matters. Because building a new delicatessen concept which sells home-style sandwiches, food items, and groceries in a casual and friendly atmosphere takes a lot of outside help. This made Hometown International look like it was a legitimate company doing legitimate business dealings. But again, you don't want to pump the stock too fast. No, you want the stock to increase just enough over a good amount of time so that other investors think to themselves, "Man, this stock has a great track record of consistently going up. This must be a really innovative restaurant concept. I should buy some shares for myself." Unfortunately, that was easier said than done. And after a couple of years, nobody else seemed to really be taking the bait. But that didn't get you down. You weren't the type to give up so easily. All you needed was a new plan. And luckily, Peter Coker Sr. had a son in Hong Kong who knew just how to turn your idea around. Peter Coker Jr. is a classic example of the apple not falling far from the tree. But unlike his father, he took the business of investments internationally. See, he specializes in what's called reverse mergers, and it would be your ticket to riches. Basically, in a reverse merger, a private company can merge with a company that's already gone public. The companies merge together, and all of a sudden, the private company gets all the money they would get by going public themselves without all the red tape and scrutiny of going through the IPO process. And the great thing is that there are a ton of Chinese companies looking to go public in the US through reverse mergers, because that kind of exposure to the American stock market can make them an obscene amount of money. Therefore, they're willing to pay American companies a lot of money to do a reverse merger with them. That is where Hometown International comes in. The perfect shell company, listed on the OTC markets with nothing actually going on that a Chinese firm can merge with. Coker Jr. had been working this kind of hustle in Hong Kong since the mid-2000s, so he got right to work. He got a few Hong Kong and Macau-based firms to invest a few million into Hometown International, and together, they set out a convoluted plan to get this reverse merger in action. Everything was going according to plan, but before the merger would go through, you got greedy and decided to get even more money. While the shell company was still yours, you were going to squeeze it for all it was worth before handing it off to someone else. All of you started trading the stock back and forth with each other like crazy. From 2019 to 2021, the deli went from $1.25 a share to $13 a share, more than 10 times their original value. Multiply that $13 share price by the number of shares that were out there, and you got a deli that was worth over $100 million. Now you could sell all your shares at a ridiculous profit, then make even more money with the merger. And with that, all evidence of your shell company would be buried. But before the deal went through, people noticed your stock skyrocketing, and you caught the attention of someone you really shouldn't have. David Einhorn is the founder and president of a hedge fund called Greenlight Capital. He's worth more than $1.4 billion, making him one of the apex predators of Wall Street. He also has a reputation for being a whistleblower when he spots something he thinks might be a fraud. So when he noticed Hometown International Incorporated climbing fast on the OTC market, of course he had to see what was going on. In a letter to investors, he made a joke about the deli and how the whole thing was kinda suspect, saying the pastrami must be amazing. And when someone posted that letter on Twitter, it caused an uproar. Why is this deli worth $100 million if it only makes $16,000 a year? Why was there this deli that had 77% of its shares owned by Hong Kong and Macau firms? Why is the CEO also the local wrestling coach? And why is a deli paying thousands in consultant fees for fast food experience to Tran Capital, who has no listed experience in fast food, but does list things like medical real estate, golf supplies, and an insurance program for trees? This caught the attention of the media. Reporters started calling the deli constantly, or even visiting it to find out if it sold real food. And with that, your cover was blown. The OTC market responded by demoting Hometown International, hand-slapping a buyer's beware warning next to your name, a literal skull and crossbones symbol. This was bad. You'd have to move fast to escape before the SEC came after you. So you fired the wrestling coach and math teacher in an attempt to save face. You killed the consulting deals with Coker shell companies, and in a desperate scramble to push a reverse merger through, you tried to team up with a bioplastics company from California. But none of that could save you. Eventually, the SEC did come after you and accused you of stock fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. Now you, Peter Coker Sr. and Peter Coker Jr. face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Lucky for Jr., he's still somewhere in Hong Kong, so who knows if they'll ever catch him. But at least the Philly cheesesteak was good. Sadly for James Patton and the Cokers, they could never convince the public that their stocks were in high demand. But you know what product is always in demand? Vaccines. Think about it. There's always a new disease popping up, throwing the public into mass panic. And with each new disease, people frantically demand a cure or some way to prevent them from getting sick in the first place, which gives you the perfect opportunity to profit. See, the government and vaccine makers have a symbiotic relationship. But obviously this is stuff that's way too spicy to be released publicly without getting demonetized. So we cover it all in our latest documentary, The Profitable Business of Vaccines. And you can watch it right now by scrolling down and clicking that join button below. Once you join, you'll get instant access to this documentary, along with a new one every month that is too controversial to be released publicly. These are the topics that we have always wanted to cover, but have never been able to because they would get demonetized and not promoted as much by the algorithm. Topics like everyone's favorite private island owner Jeffrey Epstein, the roots of Middle Eastern terror, the CIA's torture program, and much more. And there's a refund policy too, unlike most YouTube memberships. So if you join and you don't think it's worth it, email us within your first month of joining for the first time and we will personally refund you for your first month. After your first month, there is no refund. So scroll down and click that join button now.
I don't know about you guys, but I for one found this case super hilarious. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and if you're new here, this is one of the biggest channels on YouTube for documentaries on money, power, war, and crime, just like this video, so you can learn how the world really works instead of becoming a victim to it. So if you like that philosophy, if you want to be more dangerous, click that subscribe button below. You can follow me on Instagram at Tran for more day in the life kind of stuff. But that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for being part of the Watch to the End Club. Stay dangerous out there, and I will see you guys in the next one.